Puppy Trades! I hope you can hear it in my voice. I'm excited for this video. Yes, I was going to do a run-of-the-mill Tuesday kind of update on my favorite option screens. You know them, the long strangle screen, unusual options volume, sorted by the lowest put to call volume ratio refreshed. And then I do that for ETFs. And then for both of those, I then sort that page by the highest 1 month change in options volume. Oh man, and there were some great picks, man. There were some great picks on that screen. But don't worry, I wrote them all down. You want to see what those were? Drop a like. Drop a like. Let me know. And that'll let me know. Pup, I want to know what those stocks were on the unusual options volume screen that you thought had beautiful Elliott wave counts. But unfortunately, I got to make you wait. Because I got an even better call out. Yeah. Oh, I got an even better call out. I got an even better call out, baby. It's gonna. I would say, and obviously everything that I say is never investment advice. It is only what I am using for my personal investment decisions that I make in a brokerage account on at least a weekly basis. Not all of the stocks that I talk about I buy, but this stock in particular is going to affect a lot of analysis that I've had for Asian equities. But I want to tell you guys, you guys know this stock. It's Sony, S-O-N-Y ticker. You guys have heard of this. You probably got some Sony equipment in your house right now. So, Pup, was it on the strangle screen? No. Oh, okay. So you must have gone to the IV rank tab. You do IV rank and percentile. You sort by the lowest IV rank, and then you refresh it for stocks and ETFs, right? That's where you saw Sony, Pup. No. One on that screen. No, it was actually on a fundamental screen. Luckily, a more positive, friendly, fundamental screen. No B. Riley Financials. No Dover Corporation. No Dogecoin. Fortunately. Pup, if it wasn't on your unusual options volume screens, your IV rank and percentile screens, or the straddle and strangle screens, how did you know to look at Sony Corporation today? How did you know that Sony is going to put in a super mega cycle low? The actual name is probably a super cycle low, and more technically probably a primary low is the count that we're going to focus on. Pop, you watch the stock market every day. You're always on these screens. This is your Snapchat. This is your Instagram. This is your Facebook. You know, this is your OnlyFans. How did you know to look at Sony today if it wasn't on any of your option screens? Well, I actually got it from a guy who's made a lot of waves recently, named Roaring Kitty. Yes, Roaring Kitty. Do you think Roaring Kitty is your friend? Or do you think Roaring Kitty is a friendly, esoteric dude? Because I'm going to tell you there's 3 times in my life that I've thought it would be illegal for me to talk about the stock market. And as we have the TikTok bill passed, as we have the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act passed, which had some very broad-reaching things in it that I personally didn't think were related to anti-Semitism at all. Attacks on our free speech are being written into law. What's else going on with this Roaring Kitty guy in the backdrop of all of this? Well, the Federal Reserve lowered the required reserves ratio to 0% in March of 2020. They never raised it. If you go read modern monetary mechanics by the Federal Reserve, which is free, you'll see on the second page and the first page that the required reserves ratio is the primary mechanism for controlling inflation, because it determines how much banks have to have as collateral. The reserve requirement ratio sets the fraction in our fractional reserve banking system. If it's a 10% reserves requirement ratio, then a bank that has $10,000 on hand can loan out $100,000 on hand to another financial institution. And then that financial institution, if it has $100,000 on hand, and the required reserves ratio is 10%, then it only needs to have reserve requirements of 10%. So it can keep $10,000 and it can loan out $90,000 to another bank. That bank can then keep 10% reserves of that and then loan out the rest, say $70-something thousand. So the book Modern Monetary Tongue Twisters by the Federal Reserve will clearly tell you that that's the fraction. Even when the fraction is 10% in our fractional reserve banking system, we still have room for rampant monetary expansion beyond what we call money printing. So when that reserve requirement ratio was lowered to 0, we started to need scapegoats for all this inflation. And then March 11th of 2024, the Federal Reserve ended Silicon Valley Bank's emergency lending program. And that was related to cryptocurrencies as well. But they ended that program, which had been in place for a year. I'm sure you're familiar with the banking crisis of March of 2023. And I actually have a video, believe it or not, specifically about that being removed on March 11th of 2024. And I actually have a picture of Roaring Kitty on the thumbnail of that video, and the title of that video was proof that they are going to blame the swift banking system collapse on Redditors and NFTs. And then what do you know? Yesterday, 2 days ago, this guy comes out of nowhere, and he's the cause. He's the reason. Even though GameStop's already exploded before he came back, had a massive rally at the end of last week, institutions buying straddles on AMC at $3 and SPCE at $1. And I have numerous pictures of what they've done to the ticker Kodak and also BlackBerry, which I think is probably next. So there's only been 3 times in my life that I've been afraid I wouldn't be allowed to talk about the stock market. The first was when people were really believing and spreading the rumor that all of these massive moves in 2021 in the meme stocks were genuinely being caused by people on Reddit. It got very scary for a little bit. And as someone who's been on FinTwit for a while, let me tell you, there are times when it gets scary to talk about the stock market. Kamala Harris has said some very interesting things. Right now, that right is protected. But if this guy comes along, and again, with all these BRICS countries trying to attack the dollar, with the required reserves ratio being 0%, and with the Silicon Valley Bank emergency term funding program ending, as well as something called Basel, as well as something called ISO 2022 standards that are being implemented, we have a lot of changes going into our financial system, going into our monetary system. And that means a lot of things are going to collapse. And when those things collapse, a lot of people are going to be hurt. So the politicians are going to tell you that it was the Federal Reserve, or the required reserves ratio, or BRICS. What I actually have a video about with Roaring Kitty as the thumbnail picture is that they are going to blame Redditors and NFTs on this. That's what they're going to blame the collapse of the US dollar on. And I'm going to prove to you right now in this video that this man, Roaring Kitty, is a bad actor. He is not someone who you should look up to. He's not someone who you should praise. And I hope you share this with other people on Finchwit. If other people on Finchwit have big accounts and they're sharing these blatant lies that the prostitutes in the financial media will share, that Redditors and people following this man are the reason that AMC, GameStop, and in 2021, they had a whole host of stocks. BlackBerry, First Majestic Silver, American Airlines, got into silver itself. People were saying silver itself was being moved by Redditors. And those are official headlines in mainstream financial media articles that regular people could actually get together and have some coordinated attack on a financial institution, a major one. And you know what? If people actually believe that, that would be a problem. Those people would be in a lot of trouble if they actively went together and collaborated to attack a financial institution. And the vast majority of the American public believed that that is why the prices of AMC, GameStop, Kodak, Space, BlackBerry, who knows, silver itself. They're going to blame the collapse on you, fool. And I'm going to prove to you right now that this man, Roaring Kitty, he ain't your buddy, fam. He ain't your buddy. But he's got friends. And he told his real friends, he didn't tell his real friends to buy AMC today. He didn't tell his real friends to buy GameStop or Tilray. He told his real friends to buy Sony Entertainment and let them know what I know. This thing is about to put in a wave 3 of wave 3 super cycle low and head to the median of this Andrews pitchfork. And that Sony Corporation in the long term from that will probably break out of this base. It'll break that high from the 2000s, and eventually it may even go the entire depth of this base, what wave theorists will call the entire length of wave 1, places the wave 2 low. This is wave 1. The length of wave 1, places the wave 2 low, is usually the wave 3 target. It's always the wave 3 minimum target. That hasn't been reached yet. In the long term, though, if this is wave 1, this is wave 2, a large wave 3 can occur. Then a shallow wave 4 can retest the wave 1 high. In Elliott wave theory, wave 5 is either the length of wave 1 or the length of wave 3 placed at the wave 4 low. Since wave 1 is smaller than wave 3, one shortcut is to take the entire length of wave 1 and define the entire cycle's target, placing it at the wave 1 high. If wave 4 retests the wave 1 high and wave 5 is the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low, eventually Sony Corporation can head to 300 from 81. It's not some meme stock. Notice it's not some crap. So puppy trades, I've been following Roaring Kitty. I've been looking at all the news. I haven't seen him tweet about Sony Entertainment. What are you talking about? He sold all of his retail friends on Reddit to put their life savings in AMC and GameStop. What do you mean he told people to buy Sony Entertainment? A long time ago, this country realized people who do military tasks in the modern age and conduct psychological operations on the masses for programs that are most important, they're not on the battlefield. They're not even in traditional roles that you would think of with the FBI, the CIA, or the NSA. They realized that most of their agendas would be accomplished by people who seemed like they were seemingly regular people. What I call, and I believe this was the actual name of it, friendly esoteric dudes. So let's look at some of Roaring Kitty's posts. No stock tickers, pup. Where are you seeing that he told his buddies to buy Sony Entertainment? I'm not seeing anything about that. Roaring Kitty, just posting some GIFs. What's this video? Let's look at this video.
Don't be the bigger person today. Be the person that helps them understand that sometimes when you fuck around, you find out. Whoa. Sure. Look who's got something to say. I'm Mom, and I want to shoot down everything you say so I feel good about myself. Look who's ragging on the old lady. Well, no one's gonna top that. Don't be the bigger person today.
Puppy trades. That was just a funny video from a sitcom. Some funny thing about a cat. You know, he's saying he's this guy. You know, one of these other guys might be the MMs or something. Oh, haha. Have you seen this show? Come on now. Revelation of the method. Predictive programming. Let me tell the Christians something. And the Buddhists. And the Hindus. And the people who believe in divine deities. I'll tell you from my research, the people who run the stock market believe in a divine deity. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. From the sum of my research, I can promise you very easily, the people who run the stock market believe in a divine entity. And I'm going to prove that in this video that also proves that Roaring Kitty is not your friend. And a lot of these big accounts on Twitter, by the way, and a lot of people in social media positions that are seemingly innocuous, seemingly just regular average people who got promoted to 15 minutes of fame, they have to tell you. They believe if they don't tell you, they will face a karmic consequence from a divine entity. This is the most important thing to understand. This is the most important thing to understand about them. They believe there is a karmic deity that will punish them if they do not do something called revelation of the method. What does that mean? In simple terms, I'll say it once again. They have to tell you. They have to tell you. You understand that? This is not optional. They have to. Because they go to parties. They go to parties. I like to party. Look at that. Oh, trust me, baby. They got the message. You see that? You see that? Come on now. Ain't that the name of a stock? You see that right there, don't you? For those with eyes to see, they have to tell you. They have to tell everybody. They gotta have Marshawn Lynch have the Beastquake in Seattle, where he wears number 24. They gotta have Ryan Garcia say June, big earthquake. They have to tell you, they have to have Elon Musk tweet Escape from New York. Oh yeah, I just love watching the movie Escape from New York. What a random thing for a trillionaire to tweet. Hey guys, happy Monday. Love watching Escape from New York. They gotta let you know. I don't think this is mocking. A lot of people say this is mocking. They put it right in front of your face. They ain't mocking no one. They're scared. There's some entity out there. What some people call God. They think God's going to punish them. They think that when they get to wherever they're going to go, they're going to say, but God, we told them. We told them about Sony. We put it right in their faces. The big spotlight of the entire financial world was on this man's Twitter account. And we put it right in their faces. In the beginning of a video that says sluts and all this stuff, real jarring video, we put it right in their faces. Sony Entertainment. So I'm going to tell you something. I talked about a lot of option screens at the beginning of this video. If I really had to give you guys a level of confidence that I feel about the 6 or 7 stocks that I had on that screen written down, about 5 or 6, versus the stock I saw on this screen, I'd say I'm 5 or 6 times more confident in what I'm about to tell you, which is obviously not investment advice. But I'll tell you, Roaring Kitty, he's letting people know. Who's he letting know? Who's he letting know? He's letting you know. He's letting his buddies know. But he knows you're not going to be able to get it. His buddies will get it. His buddies will get it. He knows you're not going to be able to get it. We told them it was the Sony Super Cycle Low. We had all the retail traders looking at this guy, Roaring Kitty accounts, his account. They have to tell you. Why do they have to tell you? An island? There was an island? Why are all these celebrities and all these famous people all of a sudden seeming to be speaking in some sort of military code that only certain people with eyes to see can understand? When did this start happening? Wait, didn't all the meme stock explode right after Joe Biden's inauguration? Rocket Mortgage started backing everyone's housing rights for their mortgages with NFTs off the blockchain. And we want all of the regular people who have their mortgages not off the blockchain. Sorry, Rocket Mortgage has mortgage rights secured on the blockchain through NFTs. So they're a meme stock. And we want people to think companies like Rocket Mortgage, who are backing their mortgage rights on the blockchain, are stupid. So Rocket Mortgage, That company that's been having commercials blasted for 20 years on mainstream, they must be some broke meme stock. They're letting you know. I know what they're going to do, and honestly, I know they're going to get away with it. I know they're going to get away with it. I know where this country going. I know where this country going. And the Pups are going to be running that shit. We're excited, baby. I volunteered myself as tribute. We're excited. I can't wait to go back to the 12 or 13 colonies. The 12 or 13 regions. I can't wait. I said, you guys are idiots, man. The Pups are going to be running that shit. Because they're going to be able to look at this friendly, esoteric dude and Elon Musk and his friendly, esoteric dudes, you know, innocent little post. And they're going to say, this guy ain't talking about GameStop and AMC in some sitcom. He's telling people in some group he's part of. Hey, go buy Sony Entertainment. So the Pups are going to know. Look at Sony. And what do you know when you look at Sony? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. Beautiful. Beautiful leading diagonal. Highest RSI on the daily is within wave 3. Wave 4 does break the wave 1 high, but that is accepted in Elliott wave because it's a leading diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 1, wave A. From that low, so that's 5 waves up. This is 3 waves back. A, B, C. And I was looking at the option screens, baby. I didn't see Sony. But let me tell you something. I saw Sony today. I knew Sony was bottoming out some ABC correction from this high. And that from this low, it was going to form a wave 1 and wave 2. And I had this pitchfork already marked up that when it did, it was going to end this ABC correction, go wave 1, wave 2, 5 waves up, A, B, C. But I'll be honest, Sony fell off my radar. But thankfully, I know a lot about friendly esoteric dudes. And one of them got Sony right back on it. I'm looking for 70.11 to be a long-term invalidation.